Exie.
And I am Lini.
Together, we bring you African Teapot Podcast. Journey with us through Africa's vast variety of culture and heritage to discuss how this affects families both home and abroad.
Make sure to subscribe, like, and share this podcast.
Hello, listeners, and welcome back to another episode on African Teapot. Today's episode is titled Virginity Obsession. Before we go into that, I want everybody else to say hi and hello. Hi, Lini.
Hello, it's your girl Lini again. Your girl? No, I'm grown. You know what? You're a woman.
Yes,
Whatever.
I'm the co-host, Lini, and today we have another special guest.
She's not special. She's been here for 3 episodes.
True, and our other guest at this point, Liris.
Hi people, of course I'm back.
Wow, okay. Such enthusiasm for being here. Are you excited to be here for the third time?
It felt like I didn't even realize it was the third time actually.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Guys, she gets more into it when we start talking. She starts arguing.
But anyways, like you heard earlier, that's the title for today's episode. And then we have some 1 or 2 stories from around the web, right, that we're going to get into after our main topic.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so getting into the juicy stuff. Hope everybody had a wonderful month. The wonderful weekends in the month, you know. And Liris, what's special that you did this time? Or from last episode, like, what have you been up to, girl?
Partying.
That's not what she means. She's been home, staying, praying, giving her life to Christ, volunteering.
My life is already with Christ.
Oh, you recommune.
No, but all jokes aside, what do we actually do? Travel, dine.
Party.
True. Yeah, that was that. Honestly, that was
Sleep, eat, breathe.
that. Yeah, but generally we're all in good health, and everyone around us actually, thankfully, was in good health. And we all hope you guys are in good health as well. And thank you for reaching out and your messages and everything, and participating on Instagram. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And for those heading back to school, we hope this starts out awesome for you. For Labor Day, we want to wish you happy Labor Day, and we are ready to talk, y'all.
Yes. And just keep the conversation going on Instagram as you guys do. And thank you so much for saying that this should be our next topic, because we actually put this out, remember, Lini? And you all voted that this is what you guys want us to talk about. I think maybe Liris has a little bit to do with that.
So we hope we do it some justice, y'all.
Liris is pretty passionate.
I mean, I was just one vote, but
Yeah. Anyways, now getting into the juice. Lini, do you want to let us know when you did your research, right? What was virginity all about, or what is it all about, you say?
I'm sure we all know this, but so when we talk about a virgin, we're pretty much talking about someone who has abstained from the act of sexual intercourse, pretty much. But then virginity has, in the modern day and the modern time, the modern world, has been, I guess, has some fixings to it.
True.
So then when you say virgin, some people are like, oh, anal virgins too? There's that. Some people are like, oh, does it have to do with... Excuse you. I'm giving the facts, okay?
Okay, wait.
I'm sorry.
Guys, disclaimer. This episode is going to have... We're trying to keep it as honest as possible, as real as possible. So it's just a disclaimer. Certain words will be used, which are the actual words. The things that happen. We won't sugarcoat a lot of the things. So if you have kids that listen to this and you're thinking you need to be there or whatever, we won't use any profanities or anything like that, but we'll just, use words when the words actually have to be used.
I'll try to use the biological and scientific words for it, because
Exactly.
I'm just trying not to make it crass and stuff. So forgive me. But again, might I repeat, some people go into technicalities like, oh, is this like anal virgins too? Is this like, do sex toys, do fingers, are those involved? So I guess depending on the society and the people involved, virginity can be different, but I would like to say we'll just go with the fact that virginity is abstaining from sexual intercourse.
Yes, I do agree, but I'm itchy for Liris to speak because she had this look when you said anal virgins and fingers. She had this look like...
I mean, people who usually bring out the different methods are probably people who are having sex. But, because, just keep going.
Oh, I get what you mean. Like, if you're a virgin, like,
I don't need to say I am a finger virgin, anal virgin. I don't even... I guess there's probably more. But,
There's toy virgins, I guess.
Yeah, but...
keep going.
Okay. But we begin to see this idea of virginity being an issue in most, like, conservative cultures. We have African cultures, the Arabs, and they start to see virginity as this thing of they use it to determine your morality, your purity. It even reflects a family's honor and stuff. So virginity becomes a really big deal in the community. Now, with modern times and days, maybe not such a big deal. It depends too on the family. Sometimes even in the community, it depends on the family. It depends where you are and that kind of thing.
Yes, and thank you for that general background. And I agree. But sometimes reading and listening to everything you just said, I'm also thinking, when someone says, is this a virgin or not? I believe that sexual intercourse is physical and it's also, I want to say, like, if you've... Wait, no, we're talking about virginity. If you've been with somebody, if you've had any kind of intimacy that involves penetration, right? Wouldn't that be... Isn't that sex?
Intercourse.
Like,
I can get honestly,
you get what I'm saying?
I do get the conversation to be had about what if you... I think fingers is a little bit more... A lot of people ask the question about...
So
how would you say... oral sex? Good.
Right.
Great. I don't know if I'll say you're not a virgin because technically...
technically you
are? You just had a sexual activity.
Oh, that's a good one.
But you have not had sexual intercourse. So I wouldn't necessarily rule somebody out because these days people be...
That's what I'm trying to say. So what I'm also trying to say is, so we are saying that sexual intercourse is different from having
sexual activity.
Sex. Yeah, because
sexual intercourse and sex is the same thing.
Yeah, sexual... I'm agreeing with what she's saying.
Because kissing is a sexual activity.
It's a sexual activity,
but it's not
right?
having sexual
But if you've been fingered, or you've had oral, right?
I wouldn't say you're not a virgin.
Would you say someone who's had oral would say they're still virgin?
If you spend your life with fingers.
Okay, that's no. That's not what I'm talking about. Okay, hold up. I'm not saying. This is why I say I just go with penetration, the medical term.
Oh,
because
so
there's so many gray lines.
So that means fingers and sex toys, as long as there's penetration.
Yes.
You're not a virgin.
Yes,
of course.
Let's just leave it there.
So wait, can I ask a question? Would we say oral when someone is doing oral? There's a penetration there
for guys giving.
To me,
for guys performing sexual.
Is it really
oral sexual acts?
Is it really penetration though?
It depends.
Okay, again, you're bringing. Okay, you know what? On to the next one.
Valid.
No, the thing is, we are giggling, right? And people can't really see the physical.
I don't know what words to use because it's very.
Yeah, we don't want to. We want to be vulgar. We want to just keep it real. But what I'm trying to say that sometimes you can't tell me that you spend your active, moments sexually giving people oral sex, right, or fingering someone, and then when they say, "Are you a virgin?" You're like, "Yeah, you're a virgin." At that point,
Was there penetration?
You know what intimacy with the other person is.
Intimacy and sexual intercourse.
Yep.
No, I'm saying that kind of intimacy though.
No, but that's why.
But it's called oral sex. The word sex is there. We just said sex.
How about oral play?
Exactly. They call it sexting. Doesn't mean it's sex. That's what I mean.
No, sexting is different from sex.
Okay, I just feel like that is a word we use around anything.
Okay, guys, let me be the Edna of this episode. So on one side, oral sex is sexual intercourse, and on one side, it's not. Let's move on.
I think it's both. So if you're doing oral
so you
sex,
get to choose if you're a virgin or not?
No.
So if you say it's both?
No, I'm saying it's both in terms that it's like a Venn diagram, right? It can fall here or there, but if that activity you've done it, I personally don't think you should be raising your fingers that you haven't had sex. Because
you've had oral sex?
Yeah.
You've had sex one time, you're not a virgin.
So if you've masturbated, you're not a virgin?
That's what I was going to say. They all form the same.
So if you've masturbated, you're not a virgin?
Because I don't think the act you're exchanging with somebody else.
Oh, so the problem is someone else.
Okay, so you're saying you're having sex with yourself?
So if someone helps you masturbate, you've had sex?
I guess.
Okay.
Because you're with somebody else.
Liris,
honestly, these are questions.
Sex, yes. Sex takes two people. That's for me. Sex takes two people.
Okay,
you can't have sex with yourself. No, but
yes, you can.
I'm saying for me, if you're masturbating, I wouldn't, or as male or female, you're masturbating by yourself, I will call that masturbation. It's not called sex. That's masturbation.
So
but if I bring you and I can see
I think a little different.
Okay, if I bring you and I'm seeing your privates, I can touch your privates and fondle with your privates or whatever and give you oral sex at the same time. That is sexual. To me, that is sex you're having.
So you are not a virgin?
Yeah.
So someone who takes a sex toy and uses that for penetration is a virgin because it said it takes two people.
I didn't say. What do you mean?
You just
masturbate. That's what I'm saying. For me,
so that was masturbation.
Yeah, if you are
and it penetrated is masturbation.
I mean,
because this is what I believe. I don't believe somebody else would just come and just take. Listen, like a whatever.
I'm saying
just put,
you.
Yes, this is. I'm trying to explain it. You're not letting me explain it. If you take something, right, and you are sexting someone, be it a toy, I just personally don't believe you're just putting that in there and doing nothing else. You can't just be putting that in there. I don't know, unless you got creepy people like that. I don't know. But you can't just. I can't just take a toy and I'm just putting it in Lini and I'm not doing.
Excuse you, refrain from using the host as an example.
Yeah.
I say I'm not so that I don't totally agree because I've heard situations in high school where somebody starts giving oral sex and they decide they don't want to. Would you starts and stops? Would you say she's not a virgin?
No, I would say she started and stopped.
Again, but you just said if you're with. That's why I said there's a lot of gray lines.
Because there's a lot to sex. Is there orgasm to sex? Is there ejaculation to sex? Yeah, there are so many things. I started. How far did you go? If I start something, it's kind of like if I want to kiss you and I come close to kiss you or something and I change my mind, would you say I kissed you?
You brought up
if you kiss me and I don't kiss you back.
The line of if there are two people involved, then it is.
Edna and Liris, we have different point of views. We are not going to agree now.
No, I'm not refusing.
Exactly. So when we move on to the next, okay, I'm getting. Edna looks like she'll kick me off the mic.
No,
we're going.
No, I'm fine.
So especially when it comes to virginity, right? Women, we realize the hymen is a big deal. The hymen
for both men and women, actually.
For men and women. The hymen is the big predictability factor. And men have hymen? Yes.
Shocker, guys.
I know.
Yep.
So the hymen is a thin piece of tissue that's located at the opening of the vagina. So the hymen needs to be, and there's a confusion here because people think the hymen is a covering that has like no opening or anything. But think about it. If your hymen has no opening, how do you menstruate?
You can't have menstruation.
So the hymen is not a complete covering. It does have an exit that allows for secretion, that allows for menstruation. Now, if you don't have that opening, that's a surgical issue.
Yeah, I think you need to have a surgery.
You need to have one. And the hymen comes in different shapes. So pretty much how the hymen works is some people pretty much, the hymen is almost like, think of it like a scrunchie or an elastic band. So it pretty much contracts, relaxes, like according to the activity you're doing. So sometimes some women will even have a baby and their hymen isn't broken. It just depends on the person. Some people are not born with hymens.
I was just about to say that.
And that's a thing too. So it's not a complete covering. So now when you talk about a hymen and the thing in women, it's like, how does this determine your virginity when it's obvious it's not the same in every person?
Right. I agree with what you're saying, and I think it's interesting what you say, because one point to add to what you're saying as well is a lot of women, especially nowadays, lose their hymens without having sexual intercourse.
People ride horses, usually.
Right.
Strenuous
So
activity.
there are some people that even during their periods have had their hymens, a word broken, which I don't really like using the word broken, but your hymen gives way. I would say I don't really like using the word broken, but so many people it can be through physical activities like PE, sport or whatever, or using tampons, right? A lot of girls have lost or had their hymens loose. And putting in tampons, so that's what they said. Like they put it really far in sometimes, accidents when they start. But I also read this, that in some cultures, if a girl uses a tampon, she is considered she's not a virgin because she inserted something in there.
I think that tampon is actually one of the myths with virginity. I don't think the tampon is even built to go in as far as your hymen, unless you've got an extra.
I guess that's one of those myths. Then
you
barely would get there.
Yeah.
But I saw where it's like if you've used a tampon in some cultures, they're like, no, you've inserted something in there, so you're not a virgin.
Yeah.
So they are against the use of
that
tampons.
Goes up your vagina in some cultures.
Right.
So,
what I'm interested in, Liris, is I want to hear your perspective. When we've been talking about virginity and it's centered around women. When they talk about virginity leaning to men, how would you consider a man as still being a virgin or not?
And give me 1 minute. Hold your thought. Because we're getting there.
Oh, okay.
So now let's talk. We're going to actually jump right into, the virginity testing and all that stuff. But let's do women first, because it's...
Oh, because we started with women?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just because it's easier.
Yeah, I jumped ahead.
Okay. So, in most women, I'm sure everyone knows about the 2-finger method, right?
Probably not. Some people don't.
Oh, so the 2-finger method that's used for most people to determine... Her face looks like she doesn't want to hear about this. But the 2-finger method is pretty much the examiner, which is often a doctor, a community leader, a member of law enforcement or something, places 2 fingers inside a girl's vagina, checking for an intact hymen. That's that tissue we're talking about at the vaginal opening. Sorry guys, it's Liris' face for me.
No, it already sounds very invasive.
Yeah,
just
so
listening.
They send in the 2 fingers, which is pretty much checking for an intact hymen or or vaginal looseness that can suggest you've had sexual activity, because it is believed when you have sex and stuff with your vagina, the hymen, now that membrane is looser because it's been used or penetrated. So Liris, do you want to talk?
I don't want her to lose it before we get...
I have just one word.
What?
I don't really want to say the word because I know it's cultural to some people. I just feel like when I heard a doctor did it, I mean, with consent, I guess I'm fine with that. When I heard a community leader, how do you know what intact hymen feels like? You get a training certification or something?
That is one of the problems they've had. Because to you, maybe 2 centimeters is not a virgin.
Exactly.
Someone else is 3, someone else is 1.
What has law enforcement got to do with my vagina? What law are you enforcing here?
Purity?
Okay.
it already sounds invasive when you listened to Lini, when I was listening, like you're explaining the 2-finger method.
Because also think about it, people's fingers are different sizes
and different lengths as well.
Thank you. So like, just keep your fingers out of people's vaginas. Thank you.
And then this is what is interesting. I also believe that when many people hear that someone went to the doctor and checked if they are virgins, I think some people don't necessarily know how these doctors check it.
I mean, how else are you going to check it?
You get what I'm saying? You don't know how these doctors check it. Because if you know, like, the doctor just sticks his fingers up, into your kids' vaginas or your wife's vaginas, whoever's vagina, if you know that, probably you wouldn't subject your child there or whoever you're going there. And Liris made a point that is interesting. She said, or probably the doctor with consent. I personally feel like most often, and I read this when Lini, you send the research or whatever I read, and most often these people that are these women subjected to this, do not agree to this. Most often family members pressure them to go do it, right? Culture has said she has to prove it or something like that. It's not really by choice that she's saying, hey, today I'll just get up and go to the doctor just to get my hymen checked so that I can move around and tell everyone I'm a virgin. Or sometimes women have to prove to their family members they're still pure, like you said, Lini, or not damaged goods or whatever, to prove that they are still virgins. Like one of the stories that they said happened in the Middle East, where this lady they said she was not a virgin anymore. She did a test at the hospital and came back and they said she's not a virgin, and she kept saying she was a virgin, and she killed herself because of that. So sometimes I'm like,
because of virginity? I mean,
yes,
that's because of the culture.
Comes to a lot of shame,
right? Exactly.
Bullying, a lot of things.
And this is to tell you, maybe the doctor used, you understand, it, like we're saying, it's the fact that it's down to personal, to an individual to decide if what they're saying is A or B, right? Makes it hard, because the doctor, what if he's terrible at doing what he's doing? Because he's just sticking his fingers. There is no double checking.
Some people have had multiple people look at it, and again, it's different results, because like Liris said, fingers aren't the same.
Exactly.
Yours might be a 3 centimeters.
But this lady died. She killed herself.
That's sad.
Because think about it, the moment in cultures like that, the moment someone says you are not, even if the next person says you are, you know what I mean? All you need is that doubt from others in your community to just, and that's it. Maybe you're ostracized, or you know what I mean? And just treated really bad and stigmatized from things like this. Those are some of the negative effects of this whole craze around virginity. Right? Yeah. You guys are serving me faces like...
I'm not. I
think Liris has said what she wants to on this one.
Anybody who has listened to my previous podcast already know what I think. So,
Alright, I have another good question for you. Since you're all exasperated, how do you think they would check for virginity in men?
I am not sure how that's possible.
So
how do you a woman, clearly there's something that you can even say, but a man is not, he doesn't work that way.
And I still feel like for women, that's still not the right way. If you look at it,
that
has nothing to do to
even
determine.
Like a possibility of checking. How do you check at all for men?
Lini, here goes the answer.
So I know I shocked you earlier when I was like, men have hymens.
Mm-hmm.
So the best thing I could find was this research, and it's usually Edna posts all the links and where we get the information. So I'll just keep calling the names
that
of every
in the
article
show
we got.
note. Yeah.
So young boys also have hymens. It's like the white lacy skin on the foreskin. So if the foreskin on the penis slips away easily, it means that the hymen is gone. There's supposed to be some resistance.
What is happening? Circumcision?
Just in general.
Moving it's just gonna be there.
Cleaning it. It's just harder.
It's just gonna be a little harder. But if it's not there, then
if you're born, it's not
there.
So
listen, if the foreskin is sore or hard to move, then it means he is still a virgin.
Oh.
Do you get it now?
Okay.
Okay. So other methods. This is what I got from the research, and this was the best I could find, guys. Because she's right. It's hard to find anything about guys.
Right.
So other methods that this person was talking about was a certain vein on the penis. If it can still be seen, it means that he is either still a virgin or he has never slept with someone.
Is there a percentage to this?
No,
methods?
okay, we are just giving the information out there, kind of like they give the information how they check women, right?
So I'm just giving the information.
That's the information.
And this was said by Kumalo. We're going to post it all in the show notes because I don't want to say it wrong. I don't want to butcher it. But so they said the only time the vein disappears is when a boy sleeps with a virgin because her vaginal opening is still tight.
So what if he doesn't sleep with a virgin? Would it still just be there?
Sister, come on.
Exactly. That's what we're saying.
So they said if a boy urinates straight up in the air, he is a virgin. If the urine sprays, he has had sex before.
That is the most stupid thing I've heard. I'm sorry.
They said
that one?
this
Exactly.
Kumalo said expert on male so they also said you can determine by looking at the color of the knees. If the man's knees are dark,
have they gone
He was not
to?
a virgin.
Have they
Guys,
gone to a country and seen?
Guys, come on now. We all need you all in those summer shorts. We need you all in those summer shorts, guys.
I was trying to wonder if it was something more like they're trying to say people have sex mostly on the knees. So
I wondered.
So if you're the
Who says
knees,
people have sex on the knees?
We don't
really,
know.
because most support. Listen,
This is just.
Can y'all stop squeezing my neck? I'm giving the
I'm not squeezing your
information.
neck. I'm just.
And so, what do y'all think about that in the first
Okay,
place?
Liris, do you want to go? Let me let you go this
I
time.
really cannot tell you that I believe in any of that work.
Not even
The pain one was the most ridiculous thing I've heard in my time. Actually, maybe the knees. Yeah, about in the same spot. Because we used to kneel down in school when you come late and you scratch your knees on all the concrete. It means that they could look at my knees and say, "Oh shit."
Did you
I'm so sorry. You can crop that out. Be like, beep. You can say she's not a virgin. I don't know. It's just, what do you mean, dark me? Like,
I can't believe Liris just.
I'm sorry. It's the most ridiculous thing I've heard.
Okay, what about the instance of the hymen that is present in men?
That's why I asked. Is there like solid backing up to this theory?
Okay, this okay.
They actually use it somewhere to determine virginity, especially in schools.
Do you know in some cultures before women are allowed to enroll, like in Iran and other places, for women to enroll in school, you have to go through a virginity test?
I guess I'll be an
As
immigrant.
for women, might I add?
Why not
for
men?
women? Again, which is what I'm saying, because we are using the hymen to determine if women
But
are
if
virgins.
we're going off the fact that he has a hymen too, then me and him should be in the same line.
No,
Exactly. So again, that is one of my questions. Is virginity for men and women or just for women?
I think it's mainly just for women.
But now we have seen other cultures that go through extreme measures to
like the
determine
Bayankole.
if-
That's why I say mainly, not all the time. Mainly.
Because
for
we
women.
we did the Bayankole tribe, right? Like 4 episodes behind, where potency test was done for men, and technically, if you looked at it, it was kind of a that means they are.
It was just a weird family tree of
I mean,
sexual
I
intercourse.
feel like potency was not really virginity.
No, it's not. I'm trying to say there is this obsession, which is what the topic is. There is this obsession with virginity, which at the end of the day, if you look at it, is an obsession about sex, right? Why would you be worried about someone's virginity if you don't want to control sexual activity? You want to control sexual activity.
Yes.
Because your
I don't know,
purity.
is it are they okay? I am agreeing somewhere. Are they controlling sex or are they controlling? Because like I don't know. I feel like it's more morality and stuff. That's why they don't want you to have sex. They don't care about.
No, I believe you that is their reasoning. But if you look at it, it's bigger than that. Because morality doesn't only boil down to sexual activity. But if you look across cultures and history over time, when they want to talk about purity of someone, they want to look at children or kids who are obedient, the good kids or whatever, sex is it. sex becomes the issue. You don't have this issue coming up back to back when it comes to alcohol.
It's almost
you
like
don't have these issues coming up for cigarettes.
When a parent hears your kid is not having sex, they think you're perfect.
Exactly. You understand? You are the goody two, you're the goody kid when you are not having sex. You understand?
Or they say virgins wear white. And if you're not a virgin, you can't wear white.
Yeah,
white is linked to goodness,
purity and stuff. So I believe that there is this craze to control sex. And so when the moment it is screwed in your head that you are only pure if you don't have sex as a woman, then your identity becomes tied down to this one little aspect of you. Because your virginity is, a woman is more than just being a virgin, right?
Yeah.
Because you can be a mom if you're a virgin. So I think it's very, very sickening to make someone put all this, like their entire morality into
them to rewire their brains the first day they get married.
If at all they are to have sex when they're getting, if at all they wait till then, right? Now you're telling someone that, purity is no sex. And then suddenly
I'm even
you should have kids.
Sorry, I'm even talking about the ones that follow the, let's say, system. And what happens after you've had sex? How do you feel when they've told you that this is what makes you good, this is what makes you pure, this is what makes you worthy?
You are bad, no?
What happens when you've had sex? That's what I'm
Exactly.
saying. You expect somebody to on the wedding night. That's just the traditional. Let's just use wedding night. And the wedding night after she's had sex, she's probably some people just cry because to them it's like they have lost something, but that's not how it should feel.
Exactly.
But that's why some people will say, "Oh, I want to have sex only for procreation because I'm not supposed to." I'm like,
but
all those things.
Technically, you're a virgin, and you stop being a virgin only once, right? Mm-hmm. So if you've had sex for procreation, honey, you're not a virgin. You
I know,
can't.
but those people, biblically, because sex is meant for procreation, they want to use it for what it's meant for, procreation.
True, but biblically as well, it also now we're getting into religion.
I think let's do the Bible
because I don't want to get because here we're talking about all across all cultures and religions. But I'm just saying the virginity is part of sex. You can't talk about virginity and you are not talking about sex. So to me, the moment there is an obsession about virginity, it's also an obsession about sex. And if you realize it, the woman there's this obsession with the hymen. But if you listen to the research Lini made, and we'll put those links there because we're not just taking these things just randomly off of the internet, guys. This is like verified sources. So the first thing you need to know is if someone is, you can't be talking about virginity without necessarily not thinking about sex, right? Mm-hmm. And as a man, you've also been told that you only deserve to have sex with a virgin because she's pure.
Is he a virgin?
You see, but no one is checking. Exactly. No one is checking this guy. So did he have sex with somebody else? Because the whole time it's like the pressure of remaining pure is for women. But you look at men and it's like, okay, did someone tell him that he needs to also preserve himself?
I mean, that's why I'm like, cultures are different. In some cultures, the men are supposed to remain pure as well. And one reason that I feel like women, they were obsessed with virginity is our ability to be pregnant. The men don't have that
biological.
I don't know how to put it, that stigma, that thing chasing them. A guy can be like, hey, it's not my baby.
Right.
Especially in those cultures where there's no DNA test. Hey, it's not my baby. Well,
right.
But you cannot get rid of a baby. So I feel like that's why women, now there was this obsession with trying to keep them pure, because once you're not, and think about it, before there were condoms and all of this stuff to prevent pregnancy, you were getting pregnant. How else would they control pregnancy without abstaining? Because that was the only way they knew.
Yeah, but I agree with what you're saying. But abstinence and telling someone that their entire identity of being a good person versus being a bad person is being a virgin.
Can I say something?
It's misleading.
If I tell you that you still feel like you have a choice, I want you to have no choice. Because one time is all it takes.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I support Liris. It was a way to give you a mental block, because that's what they were doing. How else would I scare you away from this than making you believe you are entire?
So I have a question.
That is why there were purity rings and stuff like that.
Can I ask a question? How were men or boys scared away from having sex?
Exactly.
I mean, in some of the cultures where
when they check the
okay,
pee?
I feel like we have to go into some of the cultures where, you know, enrolling in schools or things too for guys were dependent on that, or some guys were expected to be pure.
I hear what you're saying, but my thing is, when you look at this research, right, that we just looked at, you would realize that actually it is misleading to check someone's virginity like this. Both male and female, we realize that the results would highly come out false, or would be not false but untrue to that person, because maybe they didn't lose their virginity by having sex with a man. Maybe they lose their virginity because they rode a camel, a horse, whatever.
Exactly.
That's why I'm saying
times,
checking the hymen is just misleading, because the gospel truth is you can't tell who is the virgin or not, because people can lie about it unless that person chooses to tell you the truth. Someone will stick the fingers in there, and like Liris said, if they went in 4 centimeters, then to them it's like who they're not or who they are. It varies. It's not like they're checking for cancer where the doctor suspects and then tells you to go for further testing. You know what I mean? This guy you're just relying on someone with his brain just sticking his fingers in you and saying, okay, now you're a virgin. Or looking at the way you're peeing, guys, and say you are a virgin or you're not. You see, so that in itself, I just feel that in itself, it's already wrong. You can't check someone's virginity. That's what I conclude anyways. I don't know what
that's true. We pretty much believe that.
You can't check it.
Only someone will be able to tell you they're a virgin or not.
And you just have to believe it or not.
And so,
if the vagina contracts, relaxes, and everything, and that's what it's meant to do, right? And that has nothing to do with the hymen. Then clearly there is. You imagine that story we did last time with those girls having the certificates of virginity. Like, think about that. No one can check that. That's what this is proving,
but you feel proud of yourself when you
exactly, because the culture. I mean.
Just think about it as just a crude methods used back then when we didn't have
now
as much.
It's not back then.
And but culture sticks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now it's happening. That's how they use it.
But I'm like, yeah, it sticks, because you can't erase centuries or something in centuries too. But, there'll always be something. There'll always be a lingering 1%.
I know there will always be people who want to go true to what they believe. They will always want to hold on to what they see. And then when we look at this whole virginity thing, like we brought up the idea with the tampons, and we're like, oh, that's a myth too. Now, there are certain myths that also go with the hymen, and we've kind of addressed it. The fact that the hymen is broken, not always broken. Some people have first babies, hymen's still there. Some people
are born without hymen.
People are born without one. Some people will have sex and it's still there. Well, good. See, you can't tell.
Some would just have to eat and that's it.
And then the blood. The blood is something that's believed.
I'm
that when
sick
you have
and tired
sex,
of hearing that if you have sex, you have to bleed to be a virgin.
Oh, it's gonna hurt like hell.
I mean,
that's another myth.
No, I think it's just your pain tolerance.
Yeah.
Okay,
we read it.
I'm not saying
it was there in the research.
I know. I'm not saying it will hurt like hell, but it's.
Have you heard how some people say this when you're young and people try to tell you what this is?
People even tell you.
Okay, no, I'm
like
saying
your
this.
like aunties and stuff. They're like, this is.
So
it
you are
hurts
okay
because
now.
they're trying to scare you.
Okay, now we are going somewhere else. So, but it's not exactly painless. Oh, it's painless.
I didn't say it's painless.
So guys, with that is not.
Some people would experience.
That is to everybody's personal experience.
I know,
some people would
true.
experience just like they haven't. Some will not. It's
true.
The people that experience probably like, it's a tick and that's it. So it just
depends on the person.
Right.
Okay, so then the blood, guys, not everyone
still depends on the person.
Not everyone bleeds. Some people don't bleed. Because I've heard someone say, she bled, she's a virgin. Bruh. So people don't bleed. This poor girl's going to be a virgin, cry her eyes out. You're not going to believe her because she didn't bleed. Some people just don't bleed. Think about someone, because the hymen is the main thing that's responsible for bleeding.
Right.
Someone who's been broken, someone who doesn't have one, or point blank just doesn't bleed. Don't kill her because she's not bleeding. It's not always a thing.
And then this is just advice. If you have one who is bleeding and she's not a virgin, please go check for an STD, because that's not normal either.
Why do we always come back to STD?
No, don't go take someone, have sex with, and she bleeds, and you're out here spreading your wings that she's a virgin. Yeah, go check out for chlamydia. Just saying.
Creep, creep. So, moving on to other things. It's also believed that sex changes the vagina. I want us to take an example of...
Liris is...
Okay, I'm sorry. I just went right to birth. And thinking how it contracts back, so you think your little. When I say little, I'm not. Yeah. You know, your little penis is gonna change the shape of my vagina when a baby really almost doesn't, just snaps back.
Exactly. And that's the thing. A vagina is meant to open and close. So what people don't realize about the vagina is, once, like, it's almost like an elastic band. You're using it, there's a point of elasticity, right? So you're using it. Obviously, it might be more loose now. Well, keep it closed for 5 years. It just goes back to the way it was. Maybe not up to 5 years, guys.
She's just exaggerating.
Or maybe up to 5 years. I don't know.
Just exaggerating.
I'm not the sex expert.
If you don't have as much sex,
it has more time to
go back.
But if you're having frequent sex, obviously it doesn't snap its head back in 3 seconds. So completely changes the vagina.
So guys, just get off your ego. Your penis doesn't change how a vagina looks or feels like. So if you're out here, when you're here, I was here and now I'm here, you've been cheating. Yeah, you're just looking for problems.
And then one of the last things I have on the myth list is the whole myth of purity, which we've already spoken about.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not going to spend much time on it. On that, it's the determinant. It tells you how good you are. It tells you how pure you are. That's not it. I can have sex every night. So married women ain't pure? They're good?
Exactly. Like, I don't understand this.
Someone can have sex every night. She's the nicest person. What does that have to do with inside being a person?
I don't know. This is a control thing, guys. I want someone who is pure. And you have men here that would. Let me just be really hypothetical here and bring another scenario. You have a man who is given a virgin, a woman he's with, a woman who is a virgin. And you still see this man treating her terribly and still chasing non-virgins out here. That's already an indication that this has nothing to do with, fidelity. You get what I'm saying? And this has nothing to say that once you're married to a virgin means she won't cheat on you. If someone is meant to cheat or someone wants to cheat, it's a mental thing. They are going to cheat. It has nothing to do with them being a hymen there, or you met them 10 years ago with a hymen, or you met them now with no hymen. That isn't going to change someone's reasons for choosing to cheat on you. So there is this, I think this obsession still boils down to this patriarchy and trying to control women's bodies. You are thinking of, when you meet a woman, you are already thinking of sex. You want her to be pure. And women have gone at terrible lengths, taken terrible drugs, terrible concoctions, trying to say, well, I want my vagina to snap back the way it was. I want my hymen to be there. And this is madness in terms of trying to please one gender. I know, you guys Edna with the sexism thing, but I still think it's some way, shape, or form like that. Not you guys, but some people listening. It's trying to control women's body. And it's also an insecurity for most men, because most of these leaders in these communities are men.
And that was a mic drop. So
just work on your insecurities.
So I don't even know what to even say anymore. When I was looking at myths too, you come across stories and you're like, do you imagine how the thing people don't realize is most of the people subjected to this purity test are young people who rarely give consent in this kind of communities.
Bingo.
It is traumatic. it is painful, and the results are highly unreliable that can mess up
Someone's life.
the course of someone's entire life, their family. Your older sister being pronounced not a virgin can mess up the other 6 girls from getting married. Like, to make an entire generation depend on that. After you traumatize someone, you let someone... Why?
It doesn't make sense to me, but honestly, like I said, and like you said, they don't do it on people who give consent or people who are old enough to make that choice. And some people, even if they make the choice of no is actually not an option.
True.
So
it's like the only option you have is yes.
Have to do it or eat. Okay, either way, you are a disgrace. You do it, and it doesn't work. You're a disgrace because something's could be wrong. You don't do it, you're a disgrace. So I mean, it goes back to the point of just controlling women and telling them what to do and what not to do, and when it's not good enough for you, next.
Exactly. And then I have a question. So when you check someone and they are not virgin, is there a way are they redeemable?
No. How are they going to be redeemable?
You get, that's the point I'm trying to say. So there is no reversing. So what happens to a woman in these cultures when they get married and lose their husbands or get a divorce? So they are damaged goods. They can't remarry anymore.
Some cultures mourn for forever.
Yeah, so it means she doesn't have another shot of love, right? Of getting married because...
Or some you married the brothers.
Right. The one that was born and biologically didn't have a hymen, I guess, will never get married.
So I think y'all are going to like this. The way one article put this and all these feelings we're trying to describe of how this whole thing of trying to check for virginity and letting one's life depend on that, they said... it is carried out for the benefit mostly of the third parties, right? To prove that someone's a virgin.
Facts.
Which brings with it a sense of powerlessness, humiliation, worthlessness, and lack of the right to self-determination for the woman who is subjected to it.
Exactly.
Even the guys who are subjected to it stand in the line and pee straight up, move your foreskin so
that's
I
terrible.
I won't pee in front of a bunch of
guys, or I want to stand there and let you play with my foreskin and I let you look for veins around my... Yo.
These guys need to be arrested, touching people's peepees. Like, and you love this job? Like, what is this? You love this job? It's... I can't even start understanding it. I'm like, if you're looking for someone pure, please look for someone who's got good character, someone who's respectful, someone who is ambitious,
or
right?
Whatever you want.
Someone who believes in your culture or in the you understand.
Whatever
someone who is polite.
I hope they match
your values, right? This obsession, because you can have a virgin and then the moment she becomes a non-virgin and is your wife and you have sex with her,
nothing else matters.
Nothing else matters because she becomes a complete opposite of the things you like. Maybe she's not as respectful as you thought, or maybe she's ambitious, she wants to go to school. That's not what so you need to get to know the character you want to marry and not be obsessed if they are virgin or not, because virginity, everyone was born a virgin. Nobody came out from the womb with being an expert on sex.
I know. And remember when you guys were talking about how far this thing goes? So in 2016, a member in the Egyptian parliament called for virginity tests for universities as like one of the criteria to enter the university as a way to combat premarital sex. That was in 2016.
Where was this?
In Egypt.
So those who are not going to universities just continue with premarital sex.
I guess universities is where it's rampant, guys. The messenger. And then in Indonesia as well, right? It was required for the military job applications for unmarried women.
What happened to the men?
Wasn't the military? Is the military mainly
men?
Of men?
Yeah.
So we should bring virgins for these men.
And then despite being banned in places like Afghanistan too, it is still practiced for official and unofficial reasons on the family's request. And we all know parts of... I said, so despite it being officially banned in Afghanistan, right, they still practice it officially and unofficially per family request. And we know that in some places in Africa it is also practiced.
Okay.
I have a question. I don't want to forget it. So if you check when these women are getting into the military or getting into schools, you're checking if they are virgins. When they are leaving, do you also check if they are virgins? And when they're leaving, if they tell you that one of the guys in there had sex with them or raped them or something, then what happens? Because we are good at checking for people's virginities, but we are not good at checking for people who violate them.
That happened.
Because you're checking when she goes in as a virgin. Do you check when she's leaving? And if she's not, do you investigate to see if she was violated or if she lost it? And if she lost it and it's against the rules, do you punish her and punish the guy?
Can I say something?
That she had the sexual relations with?
This goes back to because it has put that virgins are more appealing, they're the ones you want to be with, yada yada yada.
Boom.
When you put them with a bunch of men who have had sex and not had sex, are you trying? It's like you're dangling a carrot in front of a horse. What do you think is most likely going to happen? That's why back in the day we had a bunch of cases of women who were raped because you just put a virgin that you've said this is prime, for lack of a better word, prime steak, and then tell a grown man not to eat it.
Wow, Liris. Language, my dear sister.
No, but it's true. Because you've said virginity is the purest of them all,
Why would
right?
you want to have it?
And then you take the virgin and put in the midst of men, and apparently their job is to win this virgin. And guess what? They are not winning this virgin by marriage. All of them just want to have sex there, right? So that they've been with virgins. We have stories where even in certain areas in South Africa, there were stories coming out like a virgin is going to cure HIV. And I'm just like, this whole, I don't understand this obsession with virginity. Virginity just means you've not had sex. Or you just don't know.
In those cultures where they would kill virgins and bury with the king and stuff like that, so you can get into whatever heaven or whatever
exactly.
you believe.
Yeah, that's almost like another episode we need to talk about. Virgins from almost like the dawn of time have always been seen.
Or when you die, you'll go to heaven and be with virgins. Like virginity is like this prize.
I know, and we can even tell, even in this Egyptian pyramid, the guys how many times they need to pee.
Bro, that place is gonna stink.
And I need to know if this vein is in a specific place.
I need to know about the vein.
First time I've heard about this, and I'm sorry I couldn't get more information.
It's the first time I've heard about all of it. Yeah. About the knees being dark, about the peeing, and about the vein. I'm interested in knowing more. Guys, if you know, let us know actually.
Yeah. If there's anything you guys need to let us know.
Or if you've heard of other ways in which virginity tests are carried out on both men and women, please let us know. But I just think this predominantly on females, and it's just a controlling thing, trying to control women's body for the pleasure of men.
So I'm gonna read this quote unquote. Okay, so this is from the WHO. In October of 2018, to eradicate violence practiced against women and girls, the World Health Organization, United Nations Human Rights Office, and the UN Women stated that virginity testing was non-scientific and a violation of human rights. They concluded that this medically unnecessary and often painful, humiliating, and traumatic practice must end. And again, we're not pushing. I'm just reading that's why I said read it quote unquote, and then I'm going to add this part. For the guys too who have been subjected to this humiliation, this traumatic experience,
it's not right.
You are not being ignored, and it's not fair. You shouldn't have to go through it. No one should have to go through it.
No one should. You're being a virgin is a private thing to you. It's something that is yours if you're choosing to do it. And do I believe that being a virgin or promoting abstinence is the best way to eradicate some pregnancies and STDs? Of course, yes.
The only birth control that is 100%
is abstinence. But that doesn't mean that we should move around humiliating people, coming out with these ridiculous ways to subject people to like these invasive things that I don't know what it is.
And let's get one thing clear. We are not against the practice of virginity.
No.
We are not against the practice of abstinence, because you go back to the Bible. I know this is going to come up. Abstinence
That's the best way to go.
That's the best way.
Unless you're married.
We are not disputing that. The thing that gets to us is the humiliation or the length at which people need to be violated and insulted to put this point across.
Because at the end of the day, that's between you and
God.
Whatever you believe, you and your religion, because there are different religions out here. I don't want to say a specific thing. It's just between, I guess, you and
What you believe in.
yourself. Because beliefs and everything. Putting someone else, that's why even when they talk about religion, they say it's between you and your
God.
dash or whatever you believe in. So I think that has to be the same practice.
And when you look at this is not only a fight for women, because it's unfair to tell a man that the only thing he deserves in this life is a woman who is pure by her being a virgin, right? Because he will meet someone who is pure in their spirit, and maybe she's not. Maybe she lost it from rape. Maybe she lost it from the different methods we said here, the hymen or what, born without a hymen or whatever. And now he is obsessed with the virginity part of it, and he's going to lose out of something that is great, right? The same thing for women. It's unfair to put this pressure on a woman that she has to be pure. Then you have women here committing suicide, or women when they're raped, it becomes a big deal dealing with it because their culture doesn't permit her to have a second chance just because she was penetrated by whatever she was used. So this is both ways. But predominantly from most cultures, it is a control on women's bodies. But looking at both sides, we just need to stop this obsession with virginity and just virginity. You can't prove it. You can't show it. It's just an individual thing. It's your personal stuff. Like you choose to braid your hair or you choose to do whatever. It's just it's the same thing.
Please, this is also moving to current times. Don't have sexual intercourse with, some people go to hundreds of girls and then at the end say you want to marry a virgin. Who do you want to marry?
Nigerian movies.
Like, where do you want to find it? Under a rock?
Please
Please keep your archaic thinking to yourself.
Funke.
Because if I was a virgin, I heard you say that, me and you are breaking up. Because it means that you're just with me because of what? Please,
Exactly.
don't sleep with people's sisters out here and then say you want a virgin. From where?
And don't sleep with other people and say you want a virgin because you are not one. I want a virgin too. Actually, I want a virgin.
I want a virgin too.
I want a virgin.
Keep yourself, you know.
Alright, so anyone planning to enter the Chief family, can you please prove your virginity?
We need you all to come pee, guys. And you better not have me. You know what we do with the guys? The guys would apply some creams, lightning creams, on their kneecaps.
Okay, guys, thank you so much.
Actually, this was fun.
For sticking with us to the virginity talk. Edna is going to take us into stories around the web.
Yes, one of my favorites. So today we're going to have just 3 stories. So the first story, I think we all have seen it, is about Kizz Daniel, the Nigerian artist who was arrested in Tanzania for refusing to perform, allegedly for not having the chain or necklace or whatever. He came out and and debunked it and said that was not the reason, but he later on performed for free, I think the following Friday or something like that.
So what about me who bought my ticket that day and couldn't be off the next Friday? Did I get
Good
reimbursed?
question.
Whether hopefully they were refunded.
But the honest truth is, it's not the first time. I'm
feel
hearing
like
about him.
Our artists are known for
Showing up late.
How can someone show up 4 hours late? Like, do you think I'm just standing there? Are you giving me like food, chairs, water? I don't know, some spray.
They show up late first, and then when they show up, they perform for like 30 minutes.
Apology.
No apology, and they perform for like 30 minutes.
It's crazy. And then go after party and say you should pay.
Africans, I don't understand. Why is it?
Respect, guys. You're famous, you're popular. That's your job too. How would you feel if when you left there and you had a scrape against your knee, your head was bleeding, you went to the hospital, and then the nurse also said, "Oh, okay, well, I'm the celebrity in here, so you sit on that plastic chair for 4 hours."
I mean, come on. What is all this pride about? I don't understand, but I'm pretty sure this is old because this, you guys have already been talking about it. But anyways, I thought I should share that. And then this other one also is from Nigeria. This police officer in Cross River State in Nigeria was fired because he was flogging a civilian with a cutlass.
How do you
as
flog
well.
someone with a cutlass?
Yeah, I think I need to put
You
the
mean
videos.
like flat side or sharp side?
What?
Sharp side, Liris.
Okay,
Wait,
that
for
is
doing what?
that is not
We don't
flogging.
care.
That
What
is
is just justifiable or not? That's what I mean. I want to
okay.
hear
What
what
is
justifiable or
flogging?
not.
That is cutting. That is not flogging. That is butchering. That is.
So
It is butchering.
he was like publicly the
He was just
officer
fired?
the officer was publicly
Fire where?
fired. He was. They literally
in
took
jail.
off. They literally took off, and then that's the question I asked. I'm like, is he in jail? And they were like, yeah, they're going to prosecute him or something.
They
I'm
are
like,
going to in Africa.
I'm going to double check on it, but that's what was
Did the
said.
person die?
That man just got,
No, he didn't die.
That guy just got transferred to a different police
I
station.
think I'm going to show you guys. No, he was disbarred. And then they came out and said anybody who has any dealings with him is not dealing with the Nigerian police force. So if he's moving around claiming he's the police,
I guess it is something.
you know.
But still.
But sending him to jail, I personally think he should have
You
immediately.
should be in jail. You'll be in jail for life.
Like, how did he even walk away from the scene? Like, see, remember, guys, the last thing I was like, so not jungle justice. Listen.
Africans, I don't understand. When we have power or we are in a place of power, law enforcement is something that is, if you don't have compassion, then it's
certain jobs you should not be in.
you shouldn't be in, because law enforcement is one of them. You can't be using your office to bully people, to inflict this kind of hurt and pain. I'm going to show you guys a video. Like, I'll put it on Instagram, but it was terrible to watch. And when they were like stripping him off his uniform and all his, I don't know if they'll call them badges or whatever, I felt like more should have been done. He did look quiet or what. I'm like, so you can be this quiet and stuff.
Wait,
and
you wanted him to talk?
I thought he would be arguing or something.
About
I'm
what?
like,
Jungle justice.
does he have mental issues? It doesn't make
Mental
any sense.
issues? You be in the
Exactly.
force with mental issues?
I mean, you can be, but are you taking your treatment? Just your,
You know what I mean?
Have
Can
you
you?
been diagnosed?
I mean, like
Your
that has to be a serious issue for you to pick a
Cutlass and whip
That's what I
someone.
mean. That mental issue to that
I
level.
congratulate the man for not whipping him back. With
I'm sure he's not dead, because we all know people out here. You can't do something wrong. Everyone
Probably.
because they're scared of the uniform.
Or maybe it wasn't that sharp. Because I saw it, there were people around there screaming like he should stop. But you know he's with the cut, so nobody wants to. But they were like, would you put down the cutlass? I'm pretty sure that guy didn't die.
I really
because
want-
maybe it wasn't as sharp.
I really want to know what the guy did that's justifiable not to do that.
I know.
Nothing is justifiable, but we
But
want
want
to
to
know what in that
What in his
officer's
brain
mind.
was
So
thinking
Nigerians,
justifiable
please
enough.
let us know more about that story. Let us know more about that story. Now moving to the third and final story. It's about this Cameroon artist called Tenor, right? It's everywhere again on social media, and again I'm going to post it on our stories on Instagram. But Tenor is a Cameroon artist there's a video circulating of him fighting with his Ivorian fiance. Her name is Eunice. So they broke up, and she went back to pick up her stuff, and he, started touching or whatever, and they had sex. And then when she woke up, she thought that meant they're back together. And he was like, nope, we are broken up.
What does having sex mean you're back
Grab
together?
your stuff and get out. And then she started hitting him. And you could hear him in the video saying, stop violating me. And she was like, and it became a full-blown fight.
Now, if he hits you back, he's in trouble.
Well, they were fighting. I mean, but she started it. Yeah, but they were fighting. Yeah.
I mean,
I just feel like I think
self-defense, right?
I want to say a little bit. I'm not blaming him or anything, but in his case, I think you knew this girl well enough to know what she would think after that.
I don't know why you having sex
So
with
why you
someone
having
you just
sex
broke
with her
up
when you
with.
just broke up with her?
Man, after that, she was also taking it like
Please.
sex with no strings, no attachment.
Women do that all the time. Women do this thing where they use sex to manipulate
People.
That's true.
and manipulate outcomes of relationships. And men also half of the time, I guess they're both using it. They're both using sex, but women, we like playing victim, but sometimes we are manipulators. We were trying to get away with something, and maybe the guy just didn't buy it. So she was upset, and it was a complete fool. What was interesting to me was the person recording it. I need to show you guys. I'm like, So
have you tried getting between two people fighting?
Please mind your business.
It's hard.
but then it's like, oh dang, I can't separate this, so I might as well, this is my body, because it was in the room. So I'm just gonna take out my phone and start recording.
Yep.
If something happens.
Yep.
But women, and this is what half of the time women are like, oh, domestic violence. Yes, men are also violated, and you have women out here that literally inflict physical harm on men without provocation.
So speak up, guys.
You voluntarily slept with him. You had sex. He didn't force you.
I mean, but we also need both sides of the story. Who knows? Maybe there is something else on the other side.
Well, that's the story. Oh, well, I get, of course there's more, but that's the story, right? So my thing is, why didn't you ask him when he tried touching you and everything? Why didn't you tell him, hey, stop?
At that moment, your brain ain't working. Your brain is flooded.
No, at that moment, she went there because she had a motive. She knew what she
went
wanted.
to grab her stuff.
Yup.
Yeah, and then when he was touching you, why didn't you scream and start fighting then?
Because, like I said, the rush to your brain, you can't think.
Liris.
Why do you think people, like, when they say, you're like, oh, I should have one, when you're there, bro.
You girl.
But anyways, that brings me to the end of my 3 top stories from the African web. So that's it. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. But if you know any more updates, bring them on. Put them out on Instagram. But the videos I'm talking about, I definitely will put it on Instagram for y'all to watch. That brings us today. I think today we did like a solid hour. Above an hour, I think. Yes. So thank you, Liris, for being here again.
Thank you guys for having me again on the African Teapot, and I hope to be with you guys again another time. Maybe virginity, maybe not, because I'm pretty sure y'all are tired of hearing me talk about virginity. And of course, like I like to say, get STD tested.
Of course. African Teapot by Liris is please stay
do
healthy.
before you get in a relation. Sneakerlings, relationships,
Snickerlings. Whoa.
whatever.
Bedmates, bedfellows.
After one night, test it.
Yes, guys.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna
Stay
peace
safe
out
out there.
too. Oh, we spoke at the same time. Okay, guys, I'm gonna peace out too.
Okay, guys, stay safe and be healthy, and just look for really nice people and don't be obsessed with this virginity stuff. Yeah, I just thought I should speak on this voice, but thank you. See you guys on Instagram. All right, bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, and make sure to join us for our next episode.
Follow African Teapot on both Instagram and Facebook for daily inspiration and motivation.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, African Teapot Podcast.